YouTube? Dawson Ryder here. Welcome to my review for King-ohger episode 32. So, this is the start of our big Kyoryuger crossover event we've been building towards. If you guys follow the channel or these reviews at all, you know I've been a little bit worried or apprehensive about this because I've had chronic Toku crossover fatigue for like a decade now. And I particularly don't like when these types of episodes interrupt a show I'm already enjoying, like in the main show. Like, do your nonsense movies, but it's always in a show that I'm really liking too, like this one or Go Busters or Gaim. And while I would still like them to cool it on these types of things for a while to make them exciting again, I gotta say they did an overall pretty good job of integrating this into the plot. I'm really curious how early into development this idea came up, because I feel like maybe it didn't and they had to fit it in, or maybe the idea of some aspects surrounding the second villain wave inspired this, because I think it really makes things fit in rather well. I'd be curious to know that. And obviously, like, as fans, we know, like, why they're doing this, you know, shoehorning in the anniversary celebration and the merchandise. But I feel like if you were just someone to stumble upon this show and not know anything about the ins and outs of Toku merch and how it's all involved, it would feel like a decently natural part of the story of them just traveling to another planet and encountering other warriors that are facing a similar problem to themselves. As we left off with our heroes being transported to another world, which is Earth, the prime main Sentai world. You know, that it also has like 15 different worlds, but they're all the same, but Toku continuity is nonsense. But Earth, you know, and then they each kind of meet their own Kyoryuger that kind of guides them all to the same place. It's green for Gira. I think it was Nosan for Black Ranger, who I don't know why I never remember that dude's name. I always call him Black Ranger. And then it was Ian for Spider Kimonos, Jeremy, and the others, and they all kind of brought together into like this resistance base. And oh, of course, yeah, the new king is there, the son of Daigo, which we'll explain in a minute. And we get kind of just a feel for seeing them again, kind of a feel for the audience of who they are if you didn't know. And they even have like a title card on screen, and it was great to see all of them again, especially Nosan with his just everything was just fun to see. And we get some fun little interactions, and when they showcase that only red can morph for some reason, which again I'll get into later. One thing I am disappointed in by the episode, and maybe we'll get it next week, I doubt it, but I was hoping to see some more fun fish out of water scenes and humor with this, because just the way they were transported to Earth reminded me of so many different stories. Like, obviously it's a very different situation, but it initially reminded me of like when Tai went back to the real world in Digimon. But you know, characters from an alien world setting in our modern setting is always fun, and I think because there's like similarities and differences to Earth and Terra, I think it would have been fun to have a handful of scenes of them wandering through the streets or wherever and have some fun little humor bits. We did get a little bit of like the Black Ranger observing grapes, but you know, I think that would have been fun before they like immediately encounter the day boss stuff. But regardless, they are all brought to this resistance as we find out the backstory is basically, you know, they lay out the backstory for those of you that didn't know Kyoryuger, which is basically just there was a Sentai and they defeated their enemy. Spoilers for every Sentai series that ever has been and ever will be. But basically like, oh, the day boss arrived, we defeated them, yada yada. And then 2 years ago, some guy came up, which is the main big bad from King-ohger right now, and he resurrected or brought a new day boss with him, which he is like, there's a new like lead guy, and then this one monster that's like an amalgam of all the main monsters, and he's taking away people's bravery, which is stopping everyone else from morphing. And this is where we also learn that the king character, the prince character, excuse me, who wants to be king. Is that just like a thing in Japan? Do people just go around wanting to be king and that like just normal? Like, you don't see kids here being like, I want to be president. I mean, I guess you do, but like not in that weird way. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird. Because like you have so many characters that do that. It's kind of like that, I guess, kids on the playground, but it's if kids on the playground were doing that as adults. Anyway, so yeah, we find out he's like supposedly Daigo's son from the future. Like they say that our friends bought him from another timeline, like a possible future timeline. I don't know if there'll be any other expansion on that. Basically, his reason for existing is they couldn't get Daigo, which it's kind of crazy to think about how this all went about. Is the original rumor and setup was it's just going to be Daigo. Daigo's going to show up and he's going to be in the series for a while. And none of the other cast because they couldn't get him back for a return special. That was the original rumor. And then now it's like everybody but Daigo as they establish Daigo and... why am I forgetting Gold's name? Dude, I'm so bad at Sentai names. They just go... I delete everything as soon as the Sentai's over. Daigo and Gold. Uchu Kita! It's like now the database is going off. Anyway... They went off into space. They're gonna, you know, morph in outer space, and they're gonna meet the Cosmic Rangers. But that's how they write them off. I think Daigo is supposed to come back, and it'll just be his voice. His voice did sound funny, but I think it was just because I was trying to see if there was a difference, but regardless, that's how they get them off the table. But basically, it kind of ties everything together, that this dude's messing with people everywhere, and they do explain, which we knew it was a different Earth, I mean a different world, excuse me, Terra, but they do explain that it's in the same universe. I was curious if they're going to be like, is it going to be like King-ohgers in a different universe where Earth is Terra, but no, it's just a different planet in the universe. So I did think that was well done. It was fairly easy with the villain they set up, but because we've already set that up so much and that this guy has very like big reach and he's like observing and messing with all kinds of other people, of course it would make sense he's messing with the Kyoryugers and stuff like that. So I thought that was integrated together really well. And there's even like a mystery of Ian digging up this slab that has like a Kyoryuger prophecy that has them drawn in a way that's similar to the King-ohger prophecies, and then like at the end it shows like the King-ohgers with them. Maybe I was thinking, what if, I don't know if this is going to be revealed, but like why not make the prince character, instead of a descendant of Daigo, make him an ancestor, and like then he's somehow from the past and he goes back and tells the story of this. I'll be curious to see how that comes in, but overall they've done a pretty good job of weaving the mythologies together. And he's wielding like a normal Gaburi caliber at the beginning, and it gets broken because he's reckless, and Yamato fixes it and creates like the one. It's funny because I feel like there's a double explanation of why his suit is different, because he fixes it, but then they're trying to inspire his confidence, so he fights Gira, at which point part of the soul of his mecha transfers to him, which gives him, of course this is for merchandise, like, hey look, premium Bandai, or no, I think it might just come with the sword. Bandai, regardless, it doesn't matter if it's premium or not, it's Bandai. And, you know, that's why his suit looks different. I felt like the sword was explanation enough, but I think this, maybe I'm off base, this might tie into, there was that whole thing about how Kuwagata didn't have a soul. I'm thinking Gira has its soul in him, or is its soul, or something. I think that's why he's the only one that can transform. If we're being honest, I think a lot of the reason is just because they just wanted the two Reds to fight in this episode, but that was part of the reason he was able to transform. And, you know, I'm going to be honest, like, the Prince character went exactly as I thought it was going to be, another one of these annoying types, like, it's funny even because Green's like, oh yeah, well, he's special. We can tell he's one to follow. He's a loudmouth weirdo. So clearly this loon is the one to follow. Like, and then Gira of course does his annoying King Tyrant bit to you know, inspire him. Like, I'm actually gonna conquer you and I want to inspire you to fight. And it's like, God, there's these two annoying. I hate those characters. Not the characters necessarily, but just that type of character. I'm just becoming an old bitter toku fogey where just every year this type of character just grates on my nerves more and more. But it didn't mean I didn't like the episode. It's just like, yeah. And there's something weird about this character's delivery too. It was like, I don't know, weird. But anyway, we get to the final conflict and they transform. We get to see, you know, the new power-up sort of Kyoryu Red form, which I actually really like. I know it's basically just Carnival with like part King-ohger armor, but I don't know why, it just clicks with me. And he does like, of course, his own little henshin dance, which seems rather dangerous with the sword, but it's cool nonetheless. And we defeat like the, I guess, main monster, which has all the abilities to take away bravery, and then next week is gonna be the big bad, and it looks like we're actually gonna get all the Rangers together, and, you know, Samurai Forever, and we're gonna be able to morph and stuff like that next week. But I did overall enjoy the episode. Honestly, I was impressed with how they weave together the mythologies. Because of everything going on, it felt like it was part of it. You know, I saw some people asking, like, should I skip this because I haven't seen Kyoryuger? But, like, I think it's an integral part of the story, I think. I'll be curious. I haven't kept up on it because I've been a bit busy with Cosmic Fury and other stuff. But I'll be curious, is the new Daigo guy going to stick around, like supposedly originally rumored, for a while? I'm curious, like, how long-lasting the impact of any of the story will be, because it could just be that this happens to integrate with the overall story of, like, hey, he's messing with other worlds too. But I'm curious how long-lasting the implications will be for it. But they did a pretty good job of integrating it. It was great to see the cast again, some good moments with them, good interactions. It wasn't perfect. I would have liked some more fish out of water stuff. I think with the King-ohgers would have been funny. Also just felt like some cool world building there, which I really liked. And I do like the new Kyoryuger stuff overall. And we didn't see Amy all episode, but she was teased at the very end, so we'll see her next week. But overall, very strong episode. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. You know, I did really enjoy myself, as I have been with King-ohger, and I did enjoy the Kyoryuger content too. I still wish they could have just done a anniversary movie like they did for Operator and stuff, and I don't know why. I guess I don't know. But anyway, what do you guys think of this episode? Did you like the Kyoryuger crossover? If you'd seen Kyoryuger, did you enjoy seeing the characters back? Did you think they integrated it well? Did you feel lost if you're solely a King-ohger viewer? Let me know in the comments as always. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps to ring that bell so you get notifications for my videos. Dawson Ryder, signing out.